Hey, Dan here with Dreams Around the World, and in this video we're going to go through 3 ways that you can become more confident, not just now, not just for 10 minutes, but sustainably for the long term. And these are concepts that I've written about in my books that my readers have got really great results from, and I've tried, experimented with, and perfected, and they work. So without further ado, let's go into tip number 1. The first thing that will drastically change your confidence is realizing that your insides are always meeting other people's outsides. So here's what I mean by this. Most people you see in life, including myself, when you see them, you are seeing them at their best, or at the very least, when they're giving you the best they can, and they're showing you their strengths. You're watching me on YouTube here. You're not seeing me when I'm having a bad day. You're not seeing me when I'm feeling down, when things aren't working out, or when I'm trying some new sport and I look like a complete idiot because I just have no athletic ability. That's not when you're seeing me. You're seeing me making videos, which is something I do pretty well. So what you're probably doing is you see people that are at their best, whether that's a speaker, an author, an actor on TV, but you never see them at their worst. You're only seeing what they want you to see. If you go to a business networking event, are you seeing people who tell you about all their problems, their failed marriage, their struggles? No. You're seeing people when they're trying to brag, trying to look good, dress nice, showing their best self. And so what happens is you don't compute this normally, right? You think, okay, wow, look how great this person is. You don't think, wait a minute, I'm pretty great on the outside as well. But inside, maybe I have these insecurities or these fears or these bad days or ups and downs or whatever. Because you see that in yourself, but other people don't see that the same way you don't see it in other people. So basically, the concept here is to keep in mind that what you're seeing of other people is just a fragment of who they really are, and it's their best self. And so don't compare yourself to that. Don't compare yourself to a sliver of someone's best self and assume that your entire self will somehow add up to that. The other thing with this is don't compare yourself at something that you're new to or mediocre at or just isn't a strength of yours to someone who's focused on that that's what they do for a living or that's their personality strength. That doesn't make sense. That's a recipe for disaster. If you're trying to compare every part of you to the people who do that one thing best. If I compared my acting abilities to, Johnny Depp, I think he's a good actor, probably. So if I compared my acting abilities to Johnny Depp, my painting abilities to Picasso, my writing abilities to Hemingway, I would be a pretty depressed guy pretty quickly. So do not do this. Now, the second tip is around your environment, the reality you create for yourself. Not in some weird fantasy in your head world, but in real life, in terms of your day-to-day, your home, your apartment, what you dress like, where you spend your time. Now, there are ways to create sort of an artificial confidence. This self-talk, hey, I'm the best, look in the mirror, say I'm happy 50 times stuff. Generally, it's not in any of my books, and it's not something I talk about because it's very short-lived. But there are ways you can do this, right? You can create this false initial confidence. And there's also ways that you can create a real confidence based on accomplishments, based on changes in mindset, things like this. Either way, our confidence is always reacting to the environment around us. So let me give you an example of how this happened in my own life. At one point in my life, I was very confident. I was feeling really good about myself. And to the point where I still do this sometimes, where I stopped really taking care of myself in terms of my physical appearance because I feel really good about myself. So I'm like, why would I shave today? That's 5 minutes I'll never get back to, impress some stranger. I don't care. I feel good about myself, right? So that makes sense day to day. But what ends up happening is subtly throughout the day, throughout the weeks, you pick up little hints from people about them judging you or how they kind of perceive you. And you can't help but be influenced by that if you're kind of a normal person, right? So if you dress a bit like a bum because you don't care, because you are confident, that might be okay for a day. But if you're kind of always dressing that way, your subconscious is going to pick up that, hey, that person looked at me weird. Hey, when I was in that fancy store, they asked me to leave. They were surprised I could afford to pay my bill at the restaurant, whatever it is. And that's going to bring down your confidence subtly, bit by bit. And you're not going to necessarily notice it all at once, but it will happen. Same with how you maintain, your home, your apartment. Do you live somewhere where it makes you generally feel good about yourself? And whether that's just because it's clean, it's nice, it, has paintings on the wall you like, or maybe it's somewhere that you have your trophies up on the wall, or some list of accomplishments you've done, or something like that. Whatever it is, does your home environment help your confidence? Does it reinforce your confidence rather than detract from it, right? Again, you can feel really great about yourself, but if every day you look around where you live and you're like, oh, this is not okay, that's going to gradually, subtly, without you noticing, bring down your confidence. And you don't want this to happen. And so what I would generally encourage people to do who are trying to build their confidence or maintain it is to do some big things to build it, change some mindsets, but at the same time also change your environment so that it reinforces your confidence. You don't have to dress crazy nice or go the opposite extreme and be insecure about your looks and overdo it, but dress presentably, right? Maintain yourself, groom. Once a week I groom at least, and then I film videos, and then the rest of the week I look whatever. But seriously, is putting in some effort to feel good about yourself in terms of physical appearance in your environment actually ends up paying off, because you get all this subtle feedback. That girl or guy smiles at you, and that, hey, little boost of the ego, right? The store treats you well because they think you're someone successful. These little things, believe it or not, add up a lot and can have a really big impact on your confidence and just how you feel about yourself. Now, the third tip is actually going a little bit different than this, is we're looking at not caring about what people think. And when I first wrote this chapter in my book about the chapter exactly is, make jokes just for yourself. Now, when I first wrote this, we hadn't gone quite as extreme as we are today about the society of validation. It seems like some people only live for likes on their Facebook and Instagram. And that is so bad for your confidence and your self-esteem. When you do something to get validation from someone else, you basically tell your unconscious mind that you are not important unless other people say you're important. And that is really bad. The people who live for acclamations, is that the word? I'm a writer, I can't even think of it. But the people who live to get props from other people, likes on Facebook, Instagram, all that, they are gradually wearing out their confidence, and they're telling themselves that they are only important if other people say they are, and that will destroy your self-esteem, and it is not a sustainable way to be. So, time to do the opposite of that. And that is where this comes in. Tell jokes just for you. We all have that best friend or that partner or someone who we have the same sense of humor, right? And you've probably been in the situation where you think of a joke and no one in your group will get the joke. You're at work or somewhere and you're like, these people won't get it. But if only, like in my case, if only my brother Sean was here, he would think this is so funny. Tell the joke anyhow. Do it just for you. Tell a joke that no one else will get or think is funny, and do it just for you and laugh. When you do this, you send the opposite message to your unconscious. You say, I don't care what other people think. I do things for myself. My confidence, my sense of humor, my self-worth comes from within, not from without. Now, if humor isn't your thing, please get off my videos. I only like funny people. But, for the sake of this video, if humor is not your thing, then do other things just for yourself, right? Wear a really funny shirt or hat don't do it in some stupid hipster way where you read a blog that says it's a funny hat, but if you really see something you think is funny that probably looks stupid, then wear it for yourself. And again, by doing it for yourself and wearing something stupid, I have another chapter in the book. You probably wonder how dumb this book is, but I have another chapter called Wear Funny Hats. And it's around the same concept of when you do something just for yourself that you think is funny, not only does it build your own confidence because it tells your unconscious that you don't care about validation, you only care about internal validation and doing what's meaningful for you. But weirdly, other people kind of give you props for it. And it makes you seem really confident to the outside world because, whoa, look at that guy or girl who had the balls to do that. And then they say, okay, they treat you like you're someone with more confidence, and it ends up creating this cycle where it again builds your confidence. So third tip is just that do things for you. Now the key here is, again, don't go out and try to do it for other people for you. Just when you want to do something that you think will be stupid, like other people would judge you, but you want to do it, you think it would be funny or entertaining, just do it. That's the third tip here. So those are the 3 tips here. Again, to recap, the first one was realize that you're always seeing other people at their best. So do not compare your insides to other people's outsides. The second tip is to make sure your environment backs up your reality here, so that how you dress and where you live in that, where you spend your time as well, is going to reinforce the kind of confidence you want to have, so that it's not pulling away from that by, being opposite of how you want to feel, essentially. And the third tip, again, is doing things just for you, to tell yourself that you don't care about the outside world validating you, that your confidence comes from within. Those are the 3 tips there. If you found these helpful, I would really encourage you to put them into practice. Try them out. Maybe write down on a note card 1 at a time and spend a week just doing 1. Don't necessarily try to do all 3 right off the bat. But be aware of that. Put these into practice. Try them out. Let me know in the comments section if you found this helpful, if you've tried these out, as well as if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe. See me in other videos. And if you really enjoyed it and you like to read, then I'll include links to my books on confidence as well, and you might find those entertaining and helpful. So that's it. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video, or my books, or wherever else we become friends. Ciao.